Hello, welcome to my vlog for chapter 1 of Equity by Design vlog. I think I already said that, but firstly, talking about the main things that stood out to me, which was universal design of learning. I've heard of lots of the concepts, but I have never heard it laid out like this as its own name. But it's very similar, in my opinion, to strategies of differentiation, because UDL gives multiple means of engagement, different means of representation, and multiple means of action and expression. What resonated with me the most would be multiple means of action and expression, because in my class I have a very diverse set of students, and I let them pick whether or not they're going to work in a group or if they are going to work by themselves. But usually it's the same outcome. Like, they don't have options for different ways to express their outcome. And I have a lot of students with language barriers, so I do plan on implementing that. And another thing from the chapter that really stood out to me was that equality is not always equity, which I've heard that time and time again, but the chapter kind of laid it out for me, and then the video explained things better, like the movement on integrating schools and that type of thing that they discussed, and the kids all getting together to make a change. I really, really liked that, and I just feel like a lot of what they were saying kind of resonated with me, because my school is very diverse, but at the same time, I feel like the way they go about things is not always the most equitable, because most subjects at my school have a curriculum, one-size-fits-all type of situation, and I have different students with different needs. Just in one class, I have students whose grade range goes all the way from kindergarten to 5th grade, and I teach the 4th grade. And these kids are all in the 4th grade, so obviously what resonates with some of them will not go into the brains of the other ones. It'll go right over their head, or it'll be too easy and some will get bored. So I like the idea of multiple means of action and expression, because that way the outcome could be more advanced for the more advanced learners, or they may even do more in-depth research than the kids who struggle with language. The ones who struggle with language might do more of a listening thing, or just express orally what they're going to say or how they're gonna do it. You can probably see in my glasses, I'm about to scroll down in the chapter a little bit more. What I'm looking at now is reflecting on ourselves, our students, and our systems. And through reading this chapter and watching the video, I feel like I could definitely make things more interesting for my students and reach them at different levels by making the content more engaging for them. And not just engaging like, oh, they're interested in it, but it reaches their... I know what I'm trying to say. I'm so sorry. But it reaches them intellectually, so that it challenges them, but they're not at that frustration point. And in the video, I did notice different things like funding that goes towards the white schools and things like that. And I also saw how once some white people started coming to the school that was mostly Latino and Black, one group of white people came, and then now it's the percentage of white people nearly outranks the percentage of people who are not white, which is crazy, because instead of integrating the schools, it's kind of turning to where there's more white people. So that puts them at more of an advantage in a way, because they're not... the people of other ethnicities are not fully getting to embrace their cultures. But I think it's also good for everyone learning about everyone else's cultures, and just like reading in the articles, teaching about justice, that is something else I would like to do. I do teach history, and I try not to sugarcoat things, and I'm like, this is how it was. You know, it stinks. Right now we're talking about segregation in the 1960s and all that stuff. We are reading The Watsons Go to Birmingham. So there's a lot of stuff coming up, and these kids are like jaws dropping. And so I feel like it's important to express that, but it's also important to discuss with them how to not demonstrate qualities like that. And a lot of the time, like in the book, it talks about how you may be promoting segregation and not even realize it. And so that has kind of prompted me to think deeper into the things that I say, the things that I do, and that type of thing. I don't allow ugly language and that type of thing of any kind in my class, but there are probably things that have happened that go over my head. But I try to catch things that I'm like, whoa, we can't do that here at school. But, that's pretty much my take. I really do like the universal design of learning. I feel like it is encouraging me to kind of broaden my perspective as far as everything is not so black and white. And maybe one person wants to write me an essay. Maybe one person wants to take a multiple choice test, or maybe one wants to make me a slideshow to show me that they have learned the standards that we're teaching. And I really need to consider those things and means of grading. And I think this will help me a lot in my class, because whenever I give a formal assessment, my kids do not do well. They don't do well with formal assessments. So if I allow them to express what they've learned in other means, that's going to help their grade, and it's going to help make concrete for me that, yes, they did learn what I taught. They just couldn't express it through the means I was giving them.